Roger, they got a 54-20 deal. They got a pretty solid contract. They've got specific performance. They're going to end up in Delaware court. We don't know what's going to happen here. What's your best guess as to how this goes along?
Well, David, the market quite obviously thinks we're done here, right? The stock is down a ton, and it's $20 below the offer price. So quite clearly investors are betting against. But I think your point is the core one, which is there is a binding contract here. And it does not have a lot of wiggle room for Elon Musk. And it's probably important for investors that Twitter and its shareholders defend themselves here. Because if people can enter into binding contracts and just walk away without any consequences, that's not going to be good for investors in any context going long term. And, my sense is that this goes to court. I think there are going to be shareholder suits as well as a Twitter suit. I think Evan Williams' comment about, hey, they should just walk away and be friends. I think that option is one that turns out very badly for everybody.
Yeah, well, it turns out badly because there may be even more downside from here. I mean, 34.19 is a price where there are those who believe that you still might get 54.20 or at the very least a renegotiated deal at a far higher price than the current stock price. We had an analyst on who said it's $11 if the thing truly falls apart. Do you think there's being damage done, though, to Twitter's business overall, regardless of where this ends up?
David, I don't really think so. I think that the issues with Twitter have been there for a long time. In my view, it's one of the most brilliantly designed products in the history of Silicon Valley. And yet the management team and board of directors have never been able to build a business model on top of it that was equivalent to the quality of the product itself. And I think they've done a lot of really dumb things over the years to lessen the value. I've been a big believer in Scott Galloway's principle that Twitter is so important to the news media, to politicians, and to celebrities that they should have a business model that looks like Bloomberg, that the people who really depend on it should pay a lot for it, and everyone else should get it, get a view-only mode at a very low or zero price. And, I think Twitter could be a real business that way. The way it's being run right now, I just think it's always going to be very disappointing.
Yeah, well, that was one reason why when Musk actually came through and said he was buying the company, some people said, oh, there's a lot that he could do there. I'm curious. I mean, Musk is the most unique man we have in terms of business. I say the most consequential businessman on the planet right now. Roger, what do you make of Elon Musk, what he's doing here, and even beyond that, sort of how we should view him?
David, I quite honestly view Elon Musk as being the sort of masthead and figurehead for a business culture that has just gone completely off the rails. We've gotten into this mode in Silicon Valley that we use technology to exploit human weakness rather than to empower people. And we have supported a management culture that, frankly, is so self-centered it just has no regard for the people who are touched by the product, has no regard for rules. And in the long run, that's just bad for investors. It's bad for the economy. It's bad for the country. And I'm just hopeful that one of these days we're going to have the courage to say, enough of this and do something smarter.